you've got in your plans, he can give you the review. He's the great culture blaster, Michael Snyder. Michael, welcome and happy holidays.
Thank you, and same to you and Kim and Albert and obviously our fabulous audience. It's a bonus Christmas Eve culture blast on the Thompson Show.
Oh,
And,
yes.
I'm happy to be here. Also happy to wish you a happy birthday. May I be the next in line to wish you a happy birthday.
No, thank you, Michael.
We're not going to be on the air. And since we're not going to be on the air until after the new year, otherwise, I thought, let's just do this. There are important films, and they are in the offing. Quick note, it is the holidays, and last night, I'm in Los Angeles, and I went to the Tam O'Shanter Pub on Los Feliz, and I enjoyed carolers in full Edwardian garb singing a 4-part harmony version of Eartha Kitt's sultry Santa Baby. I mean, I get the feeling that Charles Dickens would have found his pantaloons tightening if he had been in the house. It was, what are they doing singing Santa Baby? I assure you, all the merry gentlemen were not resting when this performance was going on.
Very fun.
Anyway,
fun.
it was just the holiday spirit stuff. By the way, is it just me, or are Trump's special envoys usually special, like in special ed?
No, they are, that's something. By the way, I wanted to thank you for your recommendation. Kurt has noted it as well. His recommendation for Carry On was excellent. I watched it, and it was great. I, too, watched it. Courtney and I watched it, and we really liked it, Michael Snyder.
I'm glad to hear that. And in fact, you did suggest that I thought of it as a replacement for the first Die Hard movie. But no, I just think it's in that spirit, and certainly it's exciting and fun to have a new action hero or a recent action hero like Taron Egerton do something like...
that Egerton family is pretty... who's the brother? The brother's Joel or something? Or
no relation.
Oh, he's not any relation?
One of them has a D in his name, Joel, and Taron just has...
Oh, that's interesting. I thought it was they were brothers. Okay.
No, it's one of those weird, it's a phoneme. I think that's what
okay.
Similar sounding. Okay, so Oscar buzz is in the air. And let's kick things off with one of my favorite films of the year. And in fact, when we get back together after the first of the year, I'm going to talk about my favorite films of 2024. And this is one of them. It's called A Complete Unknown. It drops into the life of 19-year-old folk singer-songwriter Bob Dylan.
Hang on one second. Do we not have any visuals with this?
I'm looking.
Oh, you're looking. Okay.
I have sent many visuals.
All right, okay.
Albert, thank you.
All right. Go ahead.
Anyway,
sorry, A Complete Unknown, you were saying.
Dylan is 19 years old. He arrives in New York City. It's 1961, and he's presumably seeking fame and maybe fortune as a performer. So this follows the kid from Hibbing, Minnesota, Dylan, born Robert Zimmerman, by the way, as he carves out a career in the Manhattan clubs, meets and interacts with his heroes and peers, including Pete Seeger, who takes him under his wing, Woody Guthrie, who he idolized and was very ill at the time of Dylan's arrival in New York, and the country legend Johnny Cash, who gets to know Dylan's work and becomes a comrade. Dylan finds romance of sorts with a young woman who ends up being on the cover of his album, The Freewheeling Bob Dylan, by the way. And he gets a recording contract. Otherwise, that record doesn't come out. He attains a measure of stardom, and then he risks his status as a folk music icon by embracing rock and roll. And that's basically the section of Dylan's life that A Complete Unknown deals with. The title is taken from the lyric in the classic Dylan folk rock song, Like a Rolling Stone, A Complete Unknown. My horrible Dylan impression, I apologize. And this movie features what to me is the most impressive and fully realized performance of Timothée Chalamet's career to date. Not only does he manage to embody Dylan physically, his brilliance, his drive, and his diffidence, you can hit the ding.
Yeah, diffidence is definitely ding.
While evoking the appearance of the man in his 20s, he actually sings the songs and plays the guitar in a convincing fashion. So it's so convincing that it could almost pass as lip syncing, and it's not. Unlike, say, Angelina Jolie in the Maria Callas biopic, Maria, there's no way she's singing like one of the greatest opera divas ever, but Chalamet pulls it off. And to my ears, does it better than, for instance, Austin Butler in Elvis pulls off Presley. And in fact, the same goes for Edward Norton as Pete Seeger, who learned to play the banjo. Monica
Wow.
Barbaro as Joan Baez, who sings beautifully, although, she looks a little more like Joan's prettier sister, Mimi Farina, but it is the movies. So
Right.
I'll give them a pass. And even Boyd Holbrook as Johnny Cash. The movie does not necessarily say the how of Dylan, despite Chalamet's remarkable impression of his howl, but it does suggest the why of him. And he goes for pivotal moments like a series of snapshots, some bold, some inscrutable, kind of like Dylan himself. So we see his ascent and his quiet reserve at the start and the willful power he could wield after attaining, I don't know, folk music godhood. Partly the man, but mostly the legend and the myth with the enactment of these watershed electric events in his life as he records his first album with an electric band, kind of rock backing. And in July of 1965 at the Newport Folk Festival, where the purists were shocked and even appalled and offended by his shift into rock. And this had already been presaged in the studio with the March 1965 release of Bringing It All Back Home. I mean, these people, ostensibly fans, not listen to his latest album that came out 4 months before going to Newport? I don't know. But it's pretty wonderful. The terrific young actress Elle Fanning, who was the star of The Great, she plays Catherine the Great in the TV show. She plays his girlfriend at the time. And they call her Sylvie Russo, and she's the only character that doesn't have the actual name of the character. They're basically portraying Susie Rodolo, who was his girlfriend, and again on the cover. But it doesn't matter. The righteous fury and indignation and contempt of like a Rolling Stone and positively Fourth Street, all this stuff is there, and it's encoded in this. It is directed by James Mangold, who also has done interesting biopics about Johnny Cash, that being Walk the Line, Ford versus Ferrari. He did the great Wolverine movie Logan. I was very impressed by this. Maybe it's because I love Dylan's work, but it's going to get a lot of buzz as the award season ramps up, and it's in
And it sounds
theaters.
extraordinary in terms of what is being asked by the performers. I mean, it sounds like they had to really develop some music chops to be part of this.
Right. And it's this pivotal moment where he reinvents himself after inventing himself to begin with. Lovely film, and maybe not to everyone's taste. People might say it's a little on the surfacey side, but all of these glimpses into his life resonated for me.
Was he on a 10 scale? Was he a 10 as a musician and a poet?
You mean Dylan?
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a
Yeah.
reason why he won the Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
And I also would be remiss if I didn't say that this thing is sort of fun to watch too. And you never really, the inscrutable nature of Dylan the performer and Dylan the man in public comes alive, if you will, as Chalamet embodies that. And I was delighted with it. And again, maybe not everyone would be as thrilled about it as I was, but it made me re-examine and re-listen to a lot of Dylan stuff, particularly that period when he converted from folk to folk rock and was incredibly influential. Bands like the Byrds followed suit. I thought it was pretty wonderful.
So that is a complete unknown.
Yes.
Michael says, don't miss it.
No, don't. And by the way, you see him pulling together the band. You see Albert Grossman, the guy who became his manager, played by Dan Fogler. Everybody's pretty damn wonderful in the movie.
But I mean, you know all this stuff. There are those of us who don't really follow Dylan or music the way you do, and we'll still enjoy it.
Absolutely. I really think you will. And
Okay.
Mangold co-wrote it with Jay Cox, a pretty renowned movie guy. Yay. I'm not quite as enthusiastic, but absolutely enthusiastic about Nosferatu.
No, I've seen the trailers for it. It looks scary.
It is a new update of the immortal vampire story that parallels Bram Stoker's deathless Dracula, here personified as Count Orlok, an evil but seductive supernatural being who lives, if you can call it that, within the depths of a remote and desolate Eastern European castle during the 1800s. I assume that's roughly. They didn't put up a.
Yeah,
Too many
right.
days. This vile creature actually invades an innocent young woman's dreams, and through various manipulations, he then gets up close and personal with her. And This movie has a lot of bite. No, I'm sorry.
How
Anyway,
did this? How did he meet this woman?
he
He's.
creeps into her dreams,
I see.
and then he says he's going to purchase a plot of like a piece of real estate, and so the girl's fiance has to go to the Transylvanian castle to negotiate with this guy, and then he becomes sort
I
of
see.
a tool
All right.
to eventually get to the girl.
Okay.
Anyway, bottom line is he gets up close and personal with not only her but her fiance
Wow.
and their friends.
And he's sucking the blood of both of them.
Well, I'm not going to suggest that.
Okay.
There's something
Something more
afoot here.
even worse than blood sucking.
Well, when you have no will of your own.
Oh,
Mark,
I see.
Which
Okay.
is
Wow.
something that is scary. Maybe is getting a bite in the neck. Anyway, this is written and directed by Robert Eggers of The Witch, The Lighthouse, and The Northman. And this Nosferatu is a visual and technical marvel in its art direction, and though shot in color, it is carefully rendered and frequently uses black and white and muted color, depending on the scene, to evoke a mood. And oh boy, much of it is set at night, further emphasizing the darkness of the story with its imagery. There's a creepy kind of classicism and vibe to this retelling of the tale that nods to the long history of Gothic horror. As far as the actors, no less than Nicholas Hoult, who has been in everything this season, including The Order. He's been in a number of films. He's getting a lot of play and a lot of recognition for his work. He plays the fiancé of young Ellen Hutter, played by Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis' daughter, Lily Rose Depp.
Wow.
And she's good. She's good. But she's surrounded by the likes of Hoult, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who just, of course, made me laugh in Craven the Hunter, but he does some serious work as the best friend of the character played by Hoult. And to emphasize the creepiness, guess who shows up? Willem Dafoe as a professor who sort of knows about these mystical and paranormal things.
Wow.
And finally, our villain, Count Orlok, played by Bill Skarsgård, who you may recall is part of the Stellan Skarsgård clan, brother to Alexander, and also Pennywise the clown in It. So he's going from Pennywise to Orlok.
Wow.
And so he's making kind of a career of playing monsters. And, I thought it was just fabulous to look at it. It's long-ish, but then again, isn't
How long
everything.
is longish?
Well, it's 2 hours and 13 minutes.
No, that's by today's standards, that's like a shorty.
It's nothing. But honest to God, it was good. And I really appreciated many aspects of it. And again, you're going to a well-worn story and you're trying to breathe new life in it. And I believe that Robert Eggers has that capability. He did a good job.
Robert Eggers is a master, says Dave. The Witch is second to none.
Agreed.
J.P. H. says, I'm going to see Nosferatu. The director is great. So,
I can't imagine that Eggers didn't sit and say to himself, Robert, you just don't want to blow your Nosferatu.
the original Nosferatu was made 102 years ago.
Right? Well, so it's about time for a new one. It's been on the shelf.
Don't watch this alone, says Kurt. Is it scary, Michael?
It is creepier than hell. To quote the Addams Family song, it's creepy and it's spooky, mysterious and ooky. So,
what else do you have for us,
right.
Great Culture Blaster?
Babygirl. Babygirl, stylish, contemporary.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Yeah, actually,
don't even play.
Why didn't AOC show up in this movie? It would have been like a dream, but no. So this is a stylish contemporary account of the career-endangering power struggle between a sexually entangled boss and assistant. And it's a more serious and heated gender swap of 2002's Secretary, which you may or may not recall.
I saw it, right.
So in Babygirl, Nicole Kidman is the female CEO, married with offspring, whose hot affair with her quietly ruthless male intern, played by Harris Dickinson, proves personally and professionally perilous. Whereas in Secretary, the dynamic is, the normal, it's a male attorney, played by James Spader, and his newly hired secretary, played by Maggie Gyllenhaal, and it was couched as sort of sexy fun. Not Babygirl. Babygirl generates considerable trouble for Kidman's exec as the intern turns on her. Kidman and Dickinson are kind of on fire here, and I mean performance-wise, with copious sexual heat and the kind of tension-juicing struggle for dominance that escalates throughout the film. And honestly, Kidman emotes her Botox face off, and that is no mean feat, man. I would suggest to you that this is worth watching. It's good. It left me a little cold at times, despite all the heat being generated on screen. Helena Rain did the directing and screenwriting. She did impressive work. Again, it just wasn't, it didn't blow me away like some are blown away by Babygirl, which is in theaters.
It's in theaters.
Yeah, one more quick note. Playing her husband, who is beleaguered to say the least, Antonio Banderas.
Oh, que bueno.
Very bueno.
Nicole Kidman is working a lot.
Yeah.
She's all over the place, says Just Give Me the Truth.
She is. Coming to theaters a couple weeks after the release of the satisfying, similarly themed Struggle Against the Odds true life sports movie biography Unstoppable, we now have The Fire Inside, which tells the story of Clarissa Shields, played here in powerful fashion by a young actress named Ryan Destiny. And Clarissa was a teenage girl from a notably impoverished background, black and poor, in one of America's most toxic towns, Flint, Michigan, who, spoiler alert, becomes a boxing gold medalist at the Olympics, from nothing to the Olympics. And in fact, she is the only American boxer to date, male or female, to win back-to-back Olympic gold medals.
This is a true story?
Absolutely. Even if you know of her achievements, by the way, this account of her personal journey and unlikely athletic triumph manages to go beyond the facts of her amazing victory and contextualize it by showing the aftermath and the continuing obstacles she and Jason Crutchfield, her diligent and caring coach from the neighborhood, played, by the way, by the great Brian Tyree Henry, the obstacles they faced despite becoming, a sports heroine, standard bearer for her country. And in that way, The Fire Inside illustrates her importance to the rise of women's sports in America and the issues that continue to impact female athletes, such as getting paid at a level comparable to what the men earn. Is racism involved? Is sexism? What do you think? The script is really solid. It's by Academy Award honored Barry Jenkins. He's had the honor bestowed on him of nominations. I'm not sure whether Moonlight won that award or not back in the day. But
oh, yeah, with the confusion.
Yeah, it was his movie. And it's directed by Rachel Morrison. And again, I have to say that this young woman who plays Clarissa, Ryan Destiny, packs a punch in more ways than one. And obviously, Brian Tyree Henry is cream of the crop as a character.
I am with MJ Daniel says, cool story. I've not followed boxing for a long time, so I never heard of her. Yeah, this is a story that maybe some people knew, but I didn't know it. I'm anxious to see it. Where is it, Michael?
In theaters.
Wide
in theaters. I think it's pretty wide. Okay, one more opening tomorrow that I want to get to
quickly because the kids are here and the tree is filled with gifts.
I gotta bring it up. It's called Better Man, and it dramatizes the rise and fall and rise of British pop singer Robbie Williams, who's only known here pretty much for a song called Millennium that he did that incorporated John Barry's "You Only Live Twice" theme from the Bond film. A lovely track, very, very clever. This guy was the youngest member of the boy band Take That, one of the first boy bands along with NSYNC, the British edition, if you will. And he spun off as a solo artist. And if you need any proof of how it is not just another pop music biopic, look at a trailer. Williams is portrayed throughout as a monkey using motion capture on the actor John O. Davies. He plays Williams for the bulk of the movie, and it works. It works like gangbusters. It shouldn't work, but it works. It's a bold move by the director and co-screenwriter Michael Gracie, whose P.T. Barnum biopic, The Greatest Showman, starring Hugh Jackman, was kind of a flamboyant delight. This is thoroughly entertaining. The music is good for what it is. It's, boy band pop for most of it, and it supercharges any cliches of the music business bio that it has to, by nature, lean on by having the character
be a monkey.
Be a monkey.
Yeah.
And his mom and dad and all the people around them are all humans, and
that is really funny.
There are exciting and fun song and dance sequences. It's a bauble for Christmas that you didn't expect you were going to get or probably want, and it is in select theaters. It's not wide like those other films, but it's in select theaters. And as we wrap up, I just want to also remind people that I loved the French film The Count of Monte Cristo. We talked about it briefly last week. It's a long, lengthy, and lavish, but thoroughly engaging adaptation of Alexander
And where
Dumas's
can that be
movie.
seen, Monte?
It is in select theaters.
Yeah.
And gosh, I hope your theater is selected.
Yes, The Count of Monte Cristo. And he likes Better Man, the Robbie Williams story told with this interesting little twist where the lead character is a monkey.
Right. There's no flinging of poo, but I kind of expected that at one point or another.
No, but he behaves completely as a human. It's just that he's
Yeah, he looks like a monkey.
the fire inside, about the teenage girl in Flint, Michigan, fighting against the odds and fighting against other fighters. Ryan Destiny and Brian Tyree Henry
Oh, yes.
in that one. Michael really liked it. It's in select theaters. And he says it's really, really good. Nicole Kidman headlines Babygirl. And he really likes Babygirl.
Oh, girl,
He
baby
doesn't
girl.
like-
Don't even play.
Doesn't like it quite as much as some of the other stuff that he's offered, but he says, boy, Nicole Kidman is terrific in this one, as is
Harris Dixon. Yeah.
all the performances are really good.
Oh, yeah.
Baby Girl is in theaters. Nosferatu, the update of the vampire story. First he's in your dreams, then he's in your will to live. Nosferatu. Oh, you've really captured me on this one, Michael Snyder. The Culture Blaster says he likes it. He really likes it. But the film he really, really, really likes is A Complete Unknown, the Dylan story. The Dylan story told in ways in which the actors involved actually had to learn musical instruments and how to, again, this is the Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan story, and it takes place, you say, Michael, at a time when Dylan was making the move from sort of folk to rock.
Well, you see his progression from the early 60s when he meets his hero, Woody Guthrie, in hospital and becomes mentored in a way by Pete Seeger. And let me just say again how wonderful everyone was in their respective roles. And Edward Norton was kind of the MVP, Elle Fanning, but it's Timothée Chalamet as Dylan that is the revelation here.
Yeah, he says he sounds like him, looks like him, everything's great. Wow. I can't wait to see it. It's in theaters. How long is that one? 3.5 hours, 4 hours?
Oh, you wish you could just sit there and revel in the beauty of Timothée Chalamet.
Is it a normal length?
Oh God, are you ready? 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Okay, there
it's
you go.
almost like, get that popcorn bucket ready in case.
It's the way they do it.
Just in case. Once you've eaten the popcorn, you can use the bucket. Oh, never mind.
Michael, great times with you. We adore you. Thank you for making this special trip to the show. He is the great Culture Blaster. Find him at thevoicesf.org. Michael Snyder.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. By the way, I'm having those delicious Kung Pao latkes at the Chinese restaurant tonight. If you want to join me.
Wow, I love it. All right, Michael, on your way. On your way.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.